The Laws of Ascension, Chapter 114, Training. Cyrilda, Lorik, and Vera walk out of the space channel. They appear in front of the Holy Kingdom's castle. Thank you for coming. The Holy Queen says, having been waiting for them. Sorry to get right to it, but I'm a busy lady, she adds, causing Cyrilda to nod. What exactly are we doing? I know you have a divine law, but you can't train us to speed up our comprehension, can you? Vera asks. No, even for me, that's impossible. Instead, I'll do what I can to speed up your comprehension. Follow me. The Holy Queen says before leading them into the castle. She leads them down the halls and down some stairs. They lead to a single door which opens up into a large white room. The wall next to the door has two large windows, one on each side. The ground is white, and there's a fake blue sky on the ceiling. She leads them into the room before stopping in the center. Two people are waiting for them. A man is waiting, holding a shield and a mace. He's tall and has short brown hair. The woman next to him has metal gauntlets on. She has long white hair tied into a ponytail. They're both wearing white metal armor with golden rims. The Holy Kingdom's crest is displayed on their chests. They each have white feathered wings, just like the Holy Queen. Unlike hers, though, theirs is from a soul weapon. The Holy Queen's wings come from her law. Who are they? Cyrilda asks as they walk into the room. They're two of my Valkyrs. Lorik, Vera, I'm assuming that you haven't heard of my Valkyries before. They're an elite team of mages I personally appoint. They're given those soul wings and a part of my law. This makes them stronger than normal mages of the same level, though the difference isn't that big. Anyway, they're here to train you. Unfortunately, I can't do so myself yet. I have to deal with some other matters regarding these invaders. Vera, Arendor here will train you. Lorik, Elria will be training you. This is our training room. It'll pour purified soul power into your law starts, so while training here, it'll speed up your growth. The Holy Queen says while motioning to the Valkyries. Oh, and Cyrilda, you have questions, right? We can go talk in my study. The more people in here during training, the slower the device underground will pour out soul power. All right, I'll be back to pick you two up later. Good luck, Cyrilda says before she and the Holy Queen walk out. Vera, let's go over here so we have space, the man, Arendor, says. Vera nods and follows him off to the side. Good luck, Lorik tells Vera, causing her to smile. Same to you, kick ass, Vera says, causing the woman Elria to chuckle. Are you ready to start? For this training, you'll be coming at me without holding back. The only exception is your law field. You can't use that. I'm a grand mage, so you don't need to worry about harming me. Oh, and this room and the device underground are all reinforced, so you don't need to worry about damaging the room. Any question? Alira asks Lorik. Why can't I use my law field? Lorik asks. It'll interfere with the device underground. You should be able to feel it now, the pure soul power entering your body. It's using laws to pump that into you. When you summon your law field, it'll interfere with those laws. This could cause it to shut down, and the soul power will stop pouring out. So it's best not to use them in here. We'll train you in your law field later, once you've reached 5th tier. Alira explains. All right, then I'm ready, Lorik says before taking out his soul weapons. He casts Bestial Body before lunging for Alira. She holds out her hands and gets ready. When he's close, she throws a jab at his head. Lorik ducks under it and swings for her chest. She steps back before kicking out. Instead of dodging, Lorik lunges for her as soon as he sees her foot lift off the ground. He grabs her leg, catching it before she can put much strength or momentum behind it. Well, since she's holding back. Grand mages are much stronger than mages. The difference between a single Grand Mage level is wider than the difference between mages and lesser mages, so she's many times stronger than Lorik is. As such, she's holding back quite a bit to let him see her movements. Still, she's taken aback when he grabs her. She expected him to fight like a beginner, maybe be a bit skilled, but she didn't expect him to charge into her kick just to pin her leg. He wraps his left arm around her leg and pulls his right fist back. All the while, he keeps running forward, pushing against her. He punches her in the shoulder as she grabs his left shoulder. She pulls her right fist back and goes to punch his head. Lorik lets go of her leg and pushes her foot up, knocking her over. He falls on top of her as she's still holding him. Lorik scrambles to get up, but she grabs him. She pushes his side, pushing him to the ground and quickly rolling on top of him. She then presses her arm against his neck, applying just enough pressure to stop him from breathing. After struggling to move her to no avail, Lorik taps her arm. She smiles and pulls back, causing him to start gasping for air. She gets up before helping him up. That was impressive, Lorik. I wasn't expecting you to charge into an attack like that. Did you receive training from somewhere before? Elira asks him. No, I grew up fighting. My parents passed when I was a kid. Lorik replies. He's already decided to tell them about his past if they ask. So he only hesitates for a moment. The reason he decides to do so is that they're training him. He feels they should know what he's done, but he's not going to tell them if they don't ask. Oh, I'm sorry I asked. Let's continue. This time, try casting some more spells. Elira says. I'll try, but this full body spell makes it hard to, so I'll have to stop using it. Lorik replies. All right, but later, let's try casting spells while using it. It'll be useful to be able to cast spells while that's active. Elira says before they continue training. The training lasts for hours, with a break for lunch. They take small breaks in between sessions, but only for a few minutes. Lorik doesn't learn much, as he's already learned to fight growing up. But he does learn something. Elira drills the importance of grappling his opponents into him by doing that to him. She constantly grabs him and tosses him around. There are even times when, instead of punching, she'll yank his arm or clothes. After the first few times, he was able to resist them and not fall or stumble, but she still manages to break his guard just by pulling him. It also surprises him, as he'll try to block a punch with his arm, just for her to grab his wrist and yank it. By the end, Lorik's doing that to her as well, but not with much success. They stop training as the doors open and Cyrilda walks back in. She had been watching them train for the last hour. It's time to get going, she tells them. Thank God, I'm exhausted. Vera says, keep in mind what we talked about. Your law has amazing offense, but it's not good for defense. Make sure to work on what I taught you throughout the week. Arendor says, I will, and thanks again, Vera replies. How'd they do? Cyrilda asks the two Valkyrs. Good, shockingly so. No offense to you, of course. But I expected that. Since he's a new mage, I'd have to train him in the basics. But he had most of it mastered. Elira replies before turning to Arendor. Vera did well as well. She's been training since she was young, so we didn't need to work on that. The only problem I found so far is her defense. She relies too much on cutting her opponent and their magic. While it's effective, there's a limit to how much she can cut, so I want her to work on her defense. Arendor says, causing Cyrilda to nod. I was thinking of that same problem, but since she fights with a greatsword, we can't give her a shield. When she learns to manipulate her energy manipulation law, she'll get that taken care of, though. Cyrilda says, I don't think I've heard of that law. What is it? Arendor asks. It's an odd law, but very powerful if properly mastered. The law itself doesn't have any spells, similar to the sword law. Instead, it's used in tandem with other laws. We have records of mages who mastered it and a fire law. They were able to move their flames like waves. They even made it take shape and were able to create flame soldiers. I plan on helping her learn to manipulate it once she becomes 7th tier. It'll be easier for her then. Cyrilda replies. All right, I'll look into it and see if I can help her in any way next week, Arendor says. Cyrilda then leads Lorik and Vera out, as Arendor and Elira lock the door behind them. They head outside before Cyrilda opens the space tunnel. They step in and walk through it, back to the kingdom of Valthorn. Welcome back, how was it? King Eldrin asks as they step out into Cyrilda's office. Good. They trained in a room where soul power was pumped into them. They should both be able to level up here in a few days now, thanks to that. Cyrilda replies. Really? I didn't expect them to give them soul power like that. Eldrin says, causing her to nod. Neither did I. But the room they're training in is where all Valkyries train. It's how they grow so fast after becoming Valkyrs. Previous Holy Queens and Valkyries have filled it to the brim with soul power. Cyrilda explains before turning to Lorik and Vera. I'm sure you're both tired. I'll send you back to the dorms. Get some rest for today. She tells them before reaching out. Lorik and Vera teleport back to their dorm and appear in the living room. Welcome back, Rowan says, a little shocked by their sudden appearance. Thanks. How was your task? Vera asks as she and Lorik sit down on one of the couches. Good. We went to a dungeon nearby. The rewards weren't all that great, but we found a good item. It's a bracelet that uses wind laws to create a shield. It uses soul power to activate, but it's at 4th tier mage level, so it'll block most attacks we'll be dealing with for a while. How'd your training go? I'm guessing by the way you plopped down, you're tired? Rowan replies. Yeah, we just had to fight their Valkyries for hours. We were in a room that pumped pure soul power into our law crystals, but the speed was far slower than the soul dungeon. Lorik replies. Sarah comes downstairs as they start going into detail about what they did. Rowan gets up and cooks dinner after about half an hour. They moved on to their task, asking more details about the dungeon. After eating, Lorik and Vera head straight to bed.